Hi, everybody. I hope you're well. Guess what? Today is the last day of our solar system work because we're going to learn about that dwarf planet, Pluto. Okay, let me flip the screen. Here we go. Say the planets with me in order, starting with our sun. Sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Moon, Mars. What are the rocks represent? The asteroid belt, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and you'll see I laid down another asteroid belt with some really big asteroids in there. Really big. We're going to look at those in a minute. We're going to find out what the name of that belt is. Okay. And our last planet is, yes, you've got it. Even though it's been recategorized as a dwarf planet, it is still part of our solar system. So let's lay out Pluto. It's kind of pretty, isn't it? Oh, before I lay it out over there, I want to compare its size to Mercury. Because when we talk about its diameter, that's the distance across. How many Plutos could we get in Mercury? Do you think we could get 2? Definitely. We could maybe get 2 and a little bit more. Okay, just wanted to show you that. Now I'm going to lay Pluto out. Way over there past this second asteroid belt called the Kuiper Belt. And as you can see, it's not just little rocks. Some of these represent gigantic asteroids that are really, really big. Okay, let's take a look. Oops, I stepped on our black mat. Kind of messes it up. Are you ready? So Pluto isn't even called an outer planet. Remember, what are the inner planets? Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. What are the outer planets? Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. And Pluto's just called the dwarf planet because it's so small, and there are other dwarf planets or bodies that orbit our sun. But for many, many years, it was classified as the 9th planet. So let's hear about Pluto. The dwarf planet Pluto is frigidly cold and icy. In 2006, Pluto was reclassified as a dwarf planet along with 2 other dwarf planets, Eris and Ceres. Remember when at the beginning of the year and different times we've used the word classified? Remember, first graders, you classified the kids in our room, and we've classified animals into groups. That basically means sorted or determined by a set of requirements, how we would group something, remember? So it was resorted or reclassified, reorganized into not a planet, but a dwarf planet. Okay, let's read our far out fact. Because of its odd orbit, Pluto was closer to the sun than Neptune from 1979 to 1999. Oh my goodness, that's 20 years. That won't happen again for about 200 years. Wow, and that's something I want to tell you about when we talk about its orbit. I'm going to show you a picture in another book. Its orbit is a little strange. So let's see. How long does it take for it to have day and night? It takes 1 day on Pluto is 6 Earth days. So remember, rotating on its axis, the Earth takes 24 hours to have day and night. Pluto takes 6 years. 6 years. That's incredible. It has 3 more than 3 moons, and it has no rings. Wow. All of those outer planets have rings, even if we can't see them. Saturn has the most. But Pluto has no rings. All right, let's talk about its diameter. This is what I was talking about a minute ago. It is 2,302 kilometers, or 1,430 miles. And Mercury is about 3,000 miles in diameter, 3,000 miles across. So a little bit more than 2 Plutos could fit inside of Mercury, like 2 1/4, maybe 2 1/4. All right, distance from the sun, 5.91 billion kilometers. Ugh, it's so far out there, we can't relate to these miles. 3.67 billion miles. A billion has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 zeros behind it. Wow. So look at this. It's way out there. It's not first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. That's right. It used to be considered the 9th planet, and now we have 8 legitimate planets in our solar system, and Pluto is reclassified as the dwarf. Okay, let's take a look. And this card says, yes, it's a dwarf planet. Let's talk about how long it takes for it to go around the sun. Its solar revolution, or year length, is 248 years. Whoa! No one has ever been alive long enough. Well, Methuselah and those guys, Noah. But nobody's ever been alive long enough since we've been charting the planets and the stars, I guess. Maybe they were charting the planets and the stars back then, but we didn't have records of it, as far as I know, to see or be alive long enough for Pluto to go around the sun one time. Not in this day and age. Says number of moons? 5 moons, and Charon is the largest. Let's hear what Pluto is named after. Pluto was once known as the smallest, most distant planet in our solar system, but was recategorized as a dwarf planet in 2006. Pluto was discovered in 1930 by Clyde Tombaugh and was named after the Roman god of the underworld. Pluto is located in the Kuiper Belt. That's all the debris in the solar system with some very super large asteroids. And the Kuiper Belt is a huge concentration of galactic debris in the outer solar system beyond the orbit of Neptune. Wow. That's a lot of interesting stuff about Pluto, and we're going to talk about it. Oh, yeah. I'll tell you more about it in a minute. Why don't you get out, kindergarten and first grade, your copy work, your yellow folder, and let's read what we're going to copy about it. Pluto was once known as the smallest, most distant planet in our solar system. I'm not sure why that S is there. I think it's a mistake. But it was categorized as a dwarf planet in 2006, period. That's a long sentence with a lot of commas, but let me read it again. And I read it on this little card. Pluto was once known as the smallest, most distant planet in our solar system, but it was recategorized as a dwarf planet in 2006. All right, you can copy that. There's not a coloring sheet for Pluto if you have this, but if your moms have printed these things out, but there's a picture, and you could just make your own coloring sheet for Pluto. Let's see if I have the other ones. And draw it pretty big, just like you've done for Uranus and Neptune and the other ones, if you actually have. So you could draw, you don't have to draw it big, sorry. Draw it kind of small, very small. But you could make it the color that's on your copy worksheet. Okay, let's take a step across our solar system. I'm just going to step over our solar system here and go over and let's read a little bit more about Pluto. If you need to pause the video to finish your copy work, do that. First thing I want to show you is its orbit. I hope you can see this. It's hard to see and even understand, but most of the planets all orbit in the same plane. But take a look at this little guy, number 3, right there. That's Pluto, and if you can follow his circle, he goes up high and then comes down below the other planets when he's orbiting. So that's why he was closer to us at one point than, did they say Neptune or Uranus? Yeah, Neptune was the outer. It was actually closer to the sun for a little while than Neptune was for 20 years, a little while. I guess that's a little while in terms of space and definitely God's time. Here's that Kuiper belt. Do you see it? All the debris and all the asteroids in outer space. Ooh, this has such a glare on it. Sorry, but you can see the sun in the center and all the other planets that circle on sort of a normal plane in the same, kind of the same level. But Pluto, it goes up high in its orbit, and then it goes down low around the sun. Then it comes up high again, and then it goes down low around the sun. And it takes 248 years for it to go around the sun one time. Wow. Okay, here's that Kuiper belt. And it was named after the Dutch astronomer Gerard Kuiper. And it's a ring of comet-like objects thought to be made of ice, snow, rock, and dust. It is estimated that there are at least 70,000 of them larger than 60 miles across. I don't know if you've seen Star Wars or anything where you've seen a spaceship landing on a big rock. That's kind of what one of those pictures are, or in the cartoon or maybe the movies. One of these big, gigantic, comet-like object or asteroids. Let's see. 60 miles is about the distance between Waco, halfway between Waco and Dallas or Fort Worth. It's about 60 miles if you get halfway, like from here to Itasca. That is a big rock in outer space. Something else I want to tell you about Pluto. Unlike these other outer planets, can you stand on them? No, you'd fall through. We can only stand on the inner planets. But Pluto is a rocky ball. It's an icy rock, but you could stand on it if we had a little man. If we could ever get to Pluto, you could actually stand on it, just like you could stand on the asteroids if you could get to them. So this, our big encyclopedia says the solar system's minor members. The sun, the 8 planets and their moons are not the only bodies that make up our solar system. There are several types of smaller objects too. And here's the list of them. Pluto, Eris, Haumea, Makemake, and Ceres. And it says the 5 dwarf planets, I don't want to turn this. Pluto and Ceres used to be classified as a planet and an asteroid, respectively. The other 3 were all discovered since 2004. Wow, even though Pluto was discovered in 1930, it did not, it got reclassified in 2006 as just a dwarf planet. So let's see. Pluto, it's a small ball of icy rock that probably became captured into a planetary-like orbit. Its orbit is different from those of the other planets. This is what I was telling you about. It is much less circular and is also tilted by 17 degrees to the Earth's orbit. This means Pluto's distance from the sun varies. And I'm skipping that part. When Pluto is at its closest, it is closer to the sun than Neptune. This happens once during each of Pluto's 248-year orbits. Wow. So it says no one has seen either Pluto or Charon in detail because it's so far away we can't send a space probe to it. And it's not gotten close enough. And so this artist's impression shows what astronomers think they are like. Pluto is shown in Charon's sky above a frozen sea of methane. So Charon is its moon, and this shows Pluto, the planet. So they think that's what it looks like, and then see that sea of methane, or maybe this is the frozen sea of methane, the purple. So methane, remember, makes Uranus and Neptune blue, but because it's frozen on Pluto, it looks somewhat purple. All right, guys. That is the last of our planets. And I will work on getting the full Planet of the Sun song for you. See you soon. Bye.